Concentrating on the selection of a running mate. I spoke with him about the process and where the campaign is right now, earlier today in Indianapolis. So you had breakfast at Governor Pence's place, and your kids were there. How'd that go?
It went really well. High-quality person, wonderful guy. He's always been very respectful to me and really appreciates what I've done politically, and we had a great meeting.
So last night at your rally, you usually end with you're going to get tired of winning and winning and winning. Right. And last night, you altered it a little bit.
I often joke, you'll be calling up Mike Pence. I don't know whether he's going to be your governor or your vice president. Who the hell knows?
I mean, if you don't name him for VP, are you going to have some angry Hoosiers or angry conservatives?
Well, I don't think so. I think Indiana's been a very strong state for me. The level of receptivity that I've had here is incredible, and the governor's been amazing. So we'll see what happens. Newt Gingrich is coming in today to see me here. We're waiting around, and then I'm going out to San Diego where we have a big fundraiser for the Republican Party, the RNC, who
so
has, by the way,
you're down to two.
No, I tell you, Chris Christie is somebody I've liked a long time. He's a total professional. He's a good guy, by the way. A lot of people don't understand that. But I'm narrowing it down. I mean, I'm at 3, potentially 4. But in my own mind, I probably am thinking about 2.
What's the biggest factor for you?
And I just want to pick somebody that's very good. I want to pick somebody who's solid, who's smart. I'm not looking for an attack dog. Frankly, I'm looking for somebody that really understands what we're talking about, because I'd rather have the whole thing be on policy. And I've said that to you before. I mean, people think of me as an attacker, but I'd rather be talking about policy. If we could take our campaign against Hillary Clinton and only talk about policy, not talking about crooked Hillary and all of the things that we're talking about, I'd be very happy. But it doesn't seem to be going that way, because they've spent, I guess, close to $100 million on negative ads on me already. And I guess based on the polls I'm seeing, I'm leading, and I haven't started spending money yet. I think her greatest accomplishment will be getting out of her email scandal, because that's the single greatest accomplishment to me that she's done. How she was able to get away from the lies, the deceit, the destruction of 33,000 emails. To me, that's her greatest accomplishment.
And do you think the foundation investigation goes forward? Do you think there's things there that have not
I think the
played out?
foundation's corrupt, but based on the emails. Look, how can you do worse? You have the FBI director saying she did all of these things. And everybody said, oh, wow, she's guilty. And then the word however comes up. Now, the foundation is corrupt, and she's corrupt. But the foundation, I don't think. I mean, if she's not going to have any problem because of the emails, look what happened to other people who did a tiny fraction of what she did, and their lives have been destroyed. So I would imagine the foundation thing will be the same thing.
It's New York Times editorial today. When have you seen this? Mr. Trump is right.
No way they wrote
Mr.
that.
Trump is right.
I don't believe this is a major event. I think that's the biggest news of the week.
About Justice Ginsburg.
Well, she's a disgrace to the Supreme Court. For her to politicize the Supreme Court, and this is all the more reason why I hope I win, because I've got 11 justices that are absolutely incredible justices, highly respected by all, including liberal people, frankly. For her to come out and to say the kind of things, there's almost something wrong with her. I don't think anybody has ever seen that before.
So are you questioning her mental capacity? Or?
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm questioning perhaps her mental capacity. Yeah. For her to do that was either a very dumb mistake. And she's been criticized by people that would always be on her side. I mean, you tell me the New York Times just wrote an editorial. I think I'm going to have to frame that editorial. Might be the only good one I've ever gotten in the New York Times. But honestly, for her to have done that was an absolute disgrace to the Supreme Court. And she owes the country, our country, an apology. And she owes the Supreme Court of the United States an apology. It was disgusting.
Would you, within the first 100 days, use executive action or employ some other means to make it easier for federal employees who are members of the civil service to be fired?
We have to do something where people are going to do the right thing for our country. If you look at what's going on, as an example, with the Veterans Administration, where we have people that are so bad, that are thieves. We caught them red-handed stealing. I mean, you look at what's going on in the Arizona VA, where we caught them red-handed. They're stealing. They're thieves, just like Hillary Clinton. They're thieves, and we can't fire them because they're protected. So something has to be done. We'll get it done.
Where are you on the tax returns? Are you going to release them?
Okay, I'm under audit, very routine audit. I've been under audit for many years. I get audited every year, and then it gets approved and approved and approved and approved.
I know you've said that, and you know what people have said, that
sure,
you could still release.
Well, I'll say
them with
this.
the
Look,
audit.
Mitt Romney didn't want to give his tax returns. He fought like crazy. Then Harry Reid lied, told a total lie in the Senate, a vicious lie, and it was untrue. And then Mitt Romney, very, very late, decided to get his tax return. Now, remember this. I'm under audit. It's a routine audit. Nobody would do that while they're under audit, and everybody understands that. But let me tell you, he gave those tax returns, and they were absolutely fine. He was destroyed. They went through his returns, which are peanuts compared to what I have. You saw the stacks of paper. He gave his returns, and they found little items in those returns that were nothing.
But you know other candidates have done it. So I guess what I'm saying is it's not going to happen. We should just not expect it.
Oh, it could happen. It could happen if the audit's finished.
You're giving speeches off the teleprompter more. Some people have noticed that your tone has changed a little bit in recent days. The Twitter kind of back and forth has slowed a little bit. Is this the turn that everybody talks about, that you're pivoting now to become this kind of more controlled presidential candidate?
I'll give you a terrible answer. I don't think so. I want to be myself. You know, it got me here. Made a speech last night, tremendous crowd, you saw it, in Indiana. Tremendous crowd, the level of enthusiasm. If I ever walked into that crowd of 8,000 or 9,000 people and had a teleprompter in front of me and read a speech, I think you'd probably lose most of them by the time I was finished, okay? I like doing the teleprompter. It works for me on very detailed speeches. You know, fortunately, I have the kind of a memory where I can do it without, you know, teleprompters. But I do like it.
You're going to use a teleprompter at the convention?
A lot of people have asked me that question. They said, boy, that could be a great speech without a teleprompter, but I'm probably going to use a teleprompter.
What is the story you're going to try to tell at the convention?
Well, I'm going to tell a lot of stories at the convention. I'm going to tell a law and order story. I am the law and order candidate. There's got to be great training, great everything. But the problem with the police is one incident happens that's bad, and it's broadcast all over the world for weeks and weeks. The hundreds of thousands of things that they do that are incredible, nobody talks about. You know, we're going to have to talk about them. I find it very interesting. The media can distort images and they can distort pictures. And I've never seen people really fight back against the media, certainly not like I fight back against the media. This whole Never Trump movement is nonsense. You understand
You're
that.
not worried about it?
Not even a little bit. You have a guy named Lonigan. I've known Lonigan for 25 years in New Jersey. The guy's a loudmouth guy. He's always trying to do something. I think he even ran for governor against Christie and he lost. He got killed. He's always lost. He's a loser. He's always lost. And I see him on all these shows. I saw him last night where Paul Ryan was being interviewed. He got up to ask a question. And, you know, nasty guy. Always been a nasty guy who loses. He's a loser. But I see him on all these shows, and he's never gotten anywhere. Check his record. Loss. And I have a couple of other guys. You know, they're running. When I look at somebody like Ben Sass, who isn't even popular in Nebraska, they're very angry at him. Because what's the alternative? The alternative's Hillary Clinton, super liberal judges. Our country becomes Venezuela. You know, the judges are so important. I've put out a list of 11 judges that have gotten rave reviews. And if we're not even talking about anything else, now look, defense is always most important in all of this, but the judges are so important. So when a guy like this Ben Sass, I never even heard of him, from Nebraska, he's got a real problem in Nebraska. People are not liking him very much because what he's doing.
You know that there are more people than just, you know, a couple. I mean, there's
sure.
There's fraction.
By the way, there always are, Brett. You can look back at Ronald Reagan. You can look back at anybody. There's never been a convention, even if somebody was extremely popular. Now, you're going to take the person that did that, and in one day, with a couple of loudmouths, you're going to say, oh, forget about the last year. Forget about the fact that Trump got more votes than anybody in the history of the party. Let's put somebody else in there. Let's put somebody that didn't win a state.
You say it's not going to happen.
Can't happen.
No way. All right. So,
by the way, if it did happen, there'd be no such thing as primaries, because I'd say, well, let's say in 4 years I say I want to run, or somebody wants to run. Why would they go through a full year of going to California, going to New York, going to New Hampshire, going to Iowa? All you do is go to the convention, make a little noise, and see if you can get in. It doesn't work that way.
Obviously, the Rules Committee is going to do their thing, and we'll see what comes out of there later this week. But the platform,
if you look at the platform right now, the platform is largely a Trump platform. Strong on trade. We're doing something for the evangelicals, which is incredible. Take a look at what's going on with tax-exempt status, because, you know, they keep getting threatened that we're going to take away your tax-exempt status. And we're going to do something to help the evangelicals, the Christians.
But you have to concede that the platform is a little bit more socially conservative, perhaps, than you've campaigned on.
Well, if you look at trade, and if you look at Trans-Pacific Partnership, and if you look at the wall, and you look at the borders, and you look at all the things, I mean, a few people have said it's like a Donald Trump speech.
Sure. Republicans oppose abortion rights for women. Republicans oppose women in military combat. You agree with that?
Well, look. You know, no platform is ever the same way. I would say with women, if they qualify, they qualify. And I have to say, there are very few that qualify from a certain standpoint.
Legalizing medical marijuana or any other kind of marijuana.
They oppose that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oppose legally married gay couples adopting children. Transgender rights.
Just so you understand.
I know, it's not every
platform. I am a representative of the party. Many of the things on that platform has been amazing. In fact, some of them I was really surprised that we won, including very strong borders, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we won. I think what's happening with the platform is very good. Do I agree with everything? Nobody ever has.
Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, together, they're projecting unity. Your thoughts on that, and how Democrats will react to the Republican convention?
Well, I watched their news conference, which actually did not get the kind of play I thought it would get. I thought you had two people that were so uncomfortable. She's been dragged so far left, it's incredible. And for him to have made the deal after saying she's got bad judgment, you know, she's the one that he went out there and said Hillary Clinton has bad judgment. He actually said she's not qualified to run because of her judgment. And honestly, he was so right about that. He was right about two things. She's got bad judgment, and he was right about trade deals, because our country is being stripped of its money and its jobs.
So you're reaching out to the Bernie folks?
I think I'm going to do well with Bernie folks. I do. I think the Bernie folks are very angry that he gave up. He submitted to crooked Hillary Clinton. He submitted.
That's a big jump to get to the Bernie folks and the social conservatives.
Well, they agree with me on trade so much. I mean, on trade, we're very similar, other than I'll make great deals out of it, and he wouldn't know what to do.
Tomorrow is the one-year anniversary of the nuclear deal with Iran. Top U.S. military officials say Iran's behavior has not changed.
Sure. I said that a long time ago. I said that before they signed it.
How would you change their behavior?
They will behave so well, and I hope they don't. This has been the worst deal that I've ever signed. I'm not talking about between countries. I'm talking about any kind of a deal. This was the most incompetently done deal. There was no walking. There was no negotiation. They won every single point. We gave them back their $150 billion, which we should have never given. We didn't get our prisoners back until it was essentially signed. Those prisoners should have come back. I call them the hostages. Should have come back years ago before we ever agreed to do it. And if they didn't do it, in a form, it's going to end up being scrapped. Let me tell you, it's a horrible thing for Israel. The only thing I hate about what's happened, they've gotten $150 billion back. They've got it. And that bothers me so much that they got I would have never agreed to give that money back. I would have never agreed to do it. And they have that. But what they've done is incredible. Take a look at Yemen. We're fighting them in Yemen. And Kerry is negotiating a deal with the same country that's fighting us all over, but in Yemen. And I said, why? I wonder why they don't say, you got to get out of Yemen, you got to do something. They didn't want to complicate the deal. They didn't want to complicate the deal. These people are incompetent. The people that are running our country, Obama, Kerry, these are incompetent people. And I think that's why I'm doing well.
Mr. Trump, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.